Welcome to the Sales to CEO podcast. This is your host, Louie Herron. It is my personal mission to coach, motivate, and inspire you to go from salesperson to dealer principal or any position you desire. Let's stop making excuses and start making the adjustments to the future you want and deserve. Today, we're talking about why thankfulness actually matters. Well, what's going on, everyone? I hope everyone is doing well on this week of Thanksgiving. We want to bring you a message today that I think will resonate with you. Not only does it help you in the car business, not only does it help you in business, but more specifically, and even probably more importantly, help you with yourself, right? We're talking about why it's important to just be thankful in all things. You know, so many times when we look at our lives and we look at striving and pushing and grinding and doing all the things in the business aspect, I think we have a tendency to lose a sense of gratitude because we're so caught up in what we're currently doing. And I do think the things that we're currently doing have value. There's no doubt about that. But I think the quest for all of us, myself included, if I'm thinking of myself, is always trying to find that balance. And I know in business, you know, some people are so convicted and committed that there is no balance. I genuinely feel like you can actually get the balance, but I think there's a lot of factors that go on in creating that balance for yourself, that thankfulness for yourself, that gratitude for yourself. And those things literally they're not only just financial, they're not only relational, they're spiritual. They're at a deeper level that all of us can actually grow and get better. It reminds me, I think of the verse 1 Thessalonians 5:18. And again, please keep in mind, don't get caught up in actually the religious aspect of the verse. Just think about the concept. I know a lot of folks have different religious beliefs, so I'm not impressing mine upon you. But I will tell you that in this verse it says, in everything, give thanks. For this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus, right? So in everything, give thanks. In all things, right? And so how difficult is that when we think about that whole scenario of giving thanks when things aren't going well, right? But this is an actual command to those that believe in God, to those believe, this is an actual command to give thanks. It's a declaration, right? In everything, not in some things, not in part things, in everything, give thanks. And so I think that is our quest and our challenge as we try to discover the gratitude and the thankfulness that we need to be able to really understand how can we get that thankfulness when things aren't really going like we want them to go, right? So if we look at the word thankfulness, we look at what can we be thankful for, right? It almost reminds me of a gratitude list. And I'll be the first to admit, you know, when I do gratitude lists, the value in gratitude and making a gratitude list on a daily basis is doing it daily. So I know when I don't do my gratitude list daily, that I start to lose a little luster, a little fire in that thankfulness. And when I lose my gratitude and I become unthankful for what I currently have, there's no way I can get anything more. Right? I hope that makes sense to you. If you're not thankful for what you got, there's no way to get more if we're caught up in that lack of gratitude, right? So again, I think it's the difference between having an abundant mindset and a scarcity mindset, right? I mean, it's like we're looking at our lives and we either believe that there's an abundance of everything or there's not. There's a scarcity, and that affects our behaviors. That affects how we approach business. That affects how we approach our relationships. Everything about what we do is predicated on that mindset. And you know, on the Sales to CEO podcast, I'm always talking about mindset and skill sets. And I think really being thankful and having a high level of gratitude is a skill set, right? It's a intentional focus on a daily basis to create that for yourself. So let's break down a little bit, like being thankful. What can we be thankful for, right? And I know this sounds kind of cliche, but literally as you're listening right now, look at your health, look at your family's health, look at your children's health, look at the resources you do have, look at the relationships you have, the simple things of having a roof over your head, a car to drive, ears that you can actually hear this podcast right now, the ability to get up every morning and go take a walk. There's some people sitting right now in a hospital bed that cannot walk. There's so much things to be thankful for, and it takes a moment just to slow down and actually understand that. If you look at the antonym to thankfulness, it's complaining, right? So if I look at my life and I look at the times where my mindset is wrong, I'm typically whining, I'm complaining, I'm blaming, I'm shaming myself, I'm guilting myself, and none of these things contribute to having a gratitude mindset and being thankful. Right? We still have to have that hope and that gratitude when things aren't going like they're supposed to. Now, the thing I want you to understand is it's almost like the old theory of polarity, right? There's always two sides to every story. And in every adverse situation, there's always a blessing in there somewhere, right? And so we have to find that blessing and understand. And sometimes we don't catch that blessing or that increase until later down the road, right? So I think we need to understand that the question is, what are we focused on, right? Are we focused on the good? Are we focused on the bad? Are we focused on being right? Are we focused on getting along? Are we focused on finding a solution? Are we focused on blaming? These are all choices that we can make in any given moment. And I think there has to be something that you can express your gratitude for, on a daily basis. I think that again, repetition is the mother of skill, right? So if you repeat the process of being thankful every day, as soon as you wake up, every day. Now, I know when I look at this and I think, okay, this seems kind of silly, Louie, like to be thankful, to be intentional. But think about it. I mean, every day you take a shower. Every day, hopefully, you brush your teeth, right? Every day there are certain things you do every single day. This is just another thing you would add to the list to actually bring yourself in a moment of gratitude on a daily basis. So I think it's extremely important that when we're doing this on a daily basis, that we're always focused on that gratitude and that thankfulness, right? The Bible talks about all the time, you seek and you will find, right? You knock and the door opens, right? The questions that I ask myself is, what am I seeking? Like, what am I knocking and looking for, right? Because the reality of the situation is, in any given moment, if I look hard enough, based on my mindset, I'll find exactly what I'm looking for, right? So if I'm looking for concerns, I'm looking for issues, I'm going to find them. There's no doubt, and I can come up with a whole checklist. But on the adverse side, if I'm looking for some good, if I'm looking for some gratitude, some gratefulness, I believe I can find that just as well, and you can too. And I think that's a very, very important factor that we got to focus on as we go through our daily lives. Now, another thing that I want you to consider in this conversation is simply this. There are a lot of things that you can be thankful for in advance. In advance. I'm a person of faith, and I believe, and I try to remember to the best of my ability that right now in my current situation with where I am in my life today, that there are things that God is working on right now that I will be thankful for. Right? I have a positive expectation. It's on the way. And I think that if you can adopt that same mindset, promotion is on the way, right? You've got to think and know and feel that moment of gratitude, right? They talk about the law of attraction. You attract into your life the exact same things that you either consciously or unconsciously bring to yourself. So we have these two different levels of conscious thought and then subconscious thought. And what I'm talking about is really trying to wire and train the subconscious thought of gratitude, because that subconscious is really the hardware running that computer, right? So if you don't have the positive expectation that great things are on the way. Some people have different feelings about expectations, right? If you have a high level of expectations of an outcome, you can be let down. That discourages you. And I understand that thinking. I'm of the belief that I create my circumstances by the thoughts that I think. I think your thoughts create everything in your life. And so having a positive expectation that debt is going to get paid, that the baby that's coming is going to be healthy, that my newly found marriage is going to be successful, that if I'm on the ropes in my relationship, it's going to repair itself and move in the right direction. That big commission I've been working on, it's finally going to close. The promotion I've been looking for in the advancement to go to that next level, like we talk about in Sales as CEO, you're trying to get to the next level. It's on its way. It's already done. I'm thankful in advance. Having that thankful intention, having that gratitude of knowing that God's already orchestrating everything to your benefit. A lot of people say the universe is conspiring to your favor always, and I think that's a powerful position to take. I was listening to a few nights ago. I was listening to Wayne Dyer, and I was listening to The Power of Intention. I actually went through. It was a 5-hour video, and it was packed, filled with nuggets. Now, listen, I communicate and work with people all the time to inspire, motivate, educate, and get mindsets right to develop the skill sets they need to go to the next level. Yet I'm sitting and I'm listening to a 20-year-old video, 20 years ago, Wayne Dyer talking about the power of intentions, right? If you look at the word intentions and define that, right, it's the act of an intense, determining mentality upon an action or a result, right? Or basically the way I look at it is what he was sharing was expectations. Right? It's an act or an instance of determining mentally upon some action or result. If I am intensely looking or determining mentally upon what action I want to see, or in this case, the definition says a result, it's an expectation, right? The end or the object intended, comma, purpose is what the definition said. So I go back to, what are your intentions? What are your intentions with your family, your finances, your relationship, and your health, right? 4 major components that we all struggle with and work with to become our best versions, our best selves, right? Your family, your finances, your relationship with God, your health and wellness. And look, I'm not speaking at you as if I've got it all together, because I don't. This is something that I look at on a daily basis for my own personal life, to reignite, re-engineer, reinvent my intentions. Because quite honestly, if I get pissed about something, I get derailed, right? I'm a human being like everybody else, right? So I think it's very, very important that we look at our intentions and understand closely what is the power of that intention or that expectation. So I've got something that we could go over as we close, kind of a 3-part exercise I want you to think about, okay? I want you to think about this last little action item that maybe can contribute to you feeling that level of gratitude or having the intention level that you need to kind of accelerate that thankfulness. Now, long after the Thanksgiving period is over and we're not in November and you're listening to this long after the fact, I believe this exercise, small little exercise, still has great value. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to find a loved one or someone that's super, super important to you. Someone you love and someone that's super, super important to you. And I don't care what state you may be in that particular relationship. I want you to take the time to tell that person with all sincerity everything that you feel about that person as it relates to how grateful you are of them. Something specific that they've done for you that you're genuinely grateful for. You can find something. Again, it's almost Malcolm Buckingham wrote a book called Bucket Filling. Great book. If you haven't picked it up, you need to. And it talks about when you actually fill somebody else's bucket, okay, and you're actually giving to someone and pouring into something or someone else, you're actually giving to yourself. This whole thankfulness and gratitude thing, you can't draw from an empty well. You can't give something you don't possess, right? So you have to have a level of thankfulness, genuine, authentic thankfulness for this someone that you care about or that you love. And you share something specific that you're grateful. Tell them that you're glad that they're in your life and the reasons behind why you're glad that they're in your life. And then most importantly, tell them how much you love them. It could be your mom, it could be your brother, it could be your spouse, it could be somebody. You don't realize the power of gratitude and thankfulness. And again, on the Sales and CEO podcast, we're talking about going to the next level. We're talking about increase in your business acumen. We're talking about developing mindsets and skill sets. We're talking about finding a way to better your situation, to go from one level to the next, to increase your automotive career, your professional career. But understand this, if we don't grow individually, we can't grow professionally. If you work on yourselves harder than you do your job will take care of itself. That's been my experience throughout my whole life. So listen, again, the Sales CEO University is available to you to go to the next level. This is a podcast on gratitude, thankfulness, amongst a time where it's extremely important to not only fill others' buckets, but also fill your own so you have the ability to continue to grow. Listen, I appreciate you guys listening and enjoying the content. Look, share, like, look, give me a rating below. I would love to hear your feedback. Again, until the next episode, I'm encouraging you. Take the time to have the power of positive intentions. Take the time to have some expectations, determining mentally upon some action or result you're looking for, having the end object in mind, the purpose of loving those around you, and being thankful for everything you have in your life, because if you take the time to look for something, you're going to take the time to find something. So until the next episode, guys, take care.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the Sales to CEO podcast. Look, real simple, do me a big favor. Number one, I'm totally grateful you took the time to listen, but share this, like, subscribe. This is how we build our network of growing people in the car industry to the next level. Again, like or share or subscribe right now. Until the next one, great selling, and let's go to the next level.